which manager takes the biggest hit reputation-wise for not making the semifinal or the final? I don't think it would be Unai Emery because he is manager of Aston Villa, right? That would protect him. But who would you say?
Manager-wise, I think the easy answer is to say Vincent Kompany.
Okay.
I think it's the easy one because, look, it's his, third or fourth season of professional football as a manager. Obviously, with Anderlecht, Burnley, it did not go well. Obviously, Championship, they dominated. The Premier League, he was too naive and got caught out. He gets the Bayern job. Now, that is the greatest jump I've ever seen in mankind. You're managing Burnley and you go to Bayern Munich. The expectations rise immediately by 100 times. 100 times. So now if you're Vincent Kompany, you have the league on lock. And I think Bayern Munich have kind of gotten a positive run-in because the Bundesliga this season isn't strong, and you're seeing Leipzig struggling. Dortmund is really struggling. They're 10th in the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen aren't their invincible selves. So I think Vincent Kompany has been aided by the Bundesliga being a little bit weakened. But now in the Champions League, this is where every big team, they look at their manager and saying, can you do it? And Vincent Kompany this season, he got destroyed by Feyenoord 3-0. He got destroyed by Barcelona 4-1. He lost to Unai Emery and Aston Villa. 1-0 victory over PSG, and barely, and I mean barely, squeaked by Celtic. Now, don't disrespect the Celtic, and they have a great history in European football, but Vincent Kompany is under pressure here. You could say, he's missing some players, and all his center backs have bozo moments. I can understand that. But Vincent Kompany still has to go forward Bayern Munich. If they go to round of 16 exit, that's unforgivable. That's the same thing as Niko Kovac when he was Bayern Munich manager when it was in 2019 when they lost to Liverpool. So I think Vincent Kompany has the biggest stock to lose. I think for Xabi Alonso, Diego Simeone, I think even for Arteta, maybe they have some excuses. I think for Vincent Kompany, he really doesn't have a lot of excuses. You got to make it past Leverkusen. You cannot lose to another Bundesliga team. I'm sorry.
Can I throw another name at you? Hansi Flick.
Yeah.
Now, I think what they would say is maybe he just got there to Barcelona, so give him some time, which I would think is kind of a weak defense. He can't lose to Benfica. You cannot lose to Benfica with this Barcelona team that is scoring goals for fun in every single game. Now, the defense is a different story. We can talk about that if we want to, but I also don't think Flick has the credit in the bank. I know he won the Supercopa, but we know Spanish fans don't care about the Supercopa really at all. It's like the community shield practically. So if you go out this early as a team that has expectations, both from us, but also the public, to at least make a semifinal, we did the whole video grading the difficulty path for the La Liga teams. It's out on the channel. Go check that out. And we said Barcelona had the easiest path to the final of at least the Spanish sides. And I think of most teams, they are on the favorable side of the bracket. They have to go through Inter Milan. It's going to be a really tough matchup if that happens. And I think Leverkusen would be fireworks. Like, I hope that's the game that we would see. I think Hansi Flick, I don't know. I see grumblings already from the Barca fan base, not just because of the Copa del Rey 4-4, but if he gets bounced here, then all the pressure is you must win La Liga. And if that doesn't happen too, I know we're talking dominoes here, but I think his reputation takes a hit. I think the reputation for Kompany is he's a lucky bastard and he shouldn't have gotten the job anyways.
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe in that case, yeah. I'm just trying to think of other managers. What if Simeone doesn't make it to the semifinals? Does his reputation take a hit? And also taking another L against Real Madrid in the Champions League. What would you say to that?
Would he be protected by the curse of Real Madrid in the Champions League?
No, you can't. No. Because you've lost, I think, two ties, I think, against Real Madrid. I think one semifinal, one round of 16, and obviously the two infamous finals, if you want to say that. So I think he's got to now get over this Real Madrid hump in the Champions League. It has to happen now. This is, I think, a great time for it because you got back in the summer. You got the Sorlofs, you got the Julians, you got the Lenomads, you got all these players. So this is a great opportunity for Diego Simeone to really change his reputation. Now, if he loses, and let's say if it's like a 4-1 on aggregate, people are not going to rate him that highly. Although me, you, of course, we will always rate Diego Simeone highly, but maybe to the casual football fan, we're like, this guy does nothing in European football. Of course, he's won a Europa League with Atleti, but in the Champions League, that's where everything matters.
It's funny that people would say he's done nothing when he's made two finals, and basically making one final has been Pochettino's entire brand for the last decade. But
I think
he doesn't do anything in Europe.
But like for a pedestal of Simeone, we always say he's going to be a top manager, and always when he does retire, let's say in 10 to 20 years, do we put him in like one of those discussions with a Klopp, with an Ancelotti, with one of those managers? When you don't have a Champions League to bring it to the table, that's going to hurt him. Of course, it's Atleti, and he brought them from obscurity in a way, even though Atletico historically are not an obscure team, but he really just guided them through the ashes and rose them like a phoenix. So now, if he could just collect that one Champions League, oh my, his legacy is set. He doesn't have to win anything for the rest of his career for me. So I think it does hurt him a little bit, again, losing to Real Madrid.
I would agree. I look at it like this. Most of the managers here are probably taking hits if they got bounced in the round of 16, with the exception of like the Club Brugge manager, right? Nobody's being like, well, I think we got to get him out the door, but it's more of how much damage do you take? If everybody's got 100 health points, how many does Diego Simeone lose if Atleti lose to Real Madrid? 30? Something like that? 20 even? Like, he's not getting sacked if Real Madrid win in the round of 16. Hansi Flick, does he take more than 20 damage points? I kind of think he does. Vincent Kompany, he might already be on 50 HP as is. And if you lose to Leverkusen, another German team, like you said, he might faint. He might be following the same career path as Gerrard. He's off to Al Ettifaq next week.
There's one manager that would take the biggest hit, though, if they lost in the round of 16 that we haven't discussed. And that's Arteta.
Okay.
What if he loses to PSV? And let's look at his European record. It ain't great either. He's lost to Olympiacos. Obviously, he lost to Bayern Munich last season. They squeaked by Porto. It went to penalties and he squeaked by because Conceição got into his head. Now, look, the excuse from Arsenal fans will be, we have injuries. I'm sorry, on paper, Arsenal still have a much better team than PSV. And PSV have a good team, but Arsenal on paper, with all the money they have spent, if they lose to PSV, and let's say PSV dominate them at home and win 3-1, and then at the Emirates it's 1-1. I mean, people are going to start looking at Arteta. They have to. It's at some point, Arsenal have to look at Arteta and say, are you really that guy? And if they lose to PSV in the round of 16, in the quarterfinal, okay, I think we would accept if they don't have the players back from the injuries. Okay, you lose to Real or Atleti, it's acceptable. If you lose to PSV, though, Arteta HP is going to go to like 75. It's going to be bad.